There I was, immersed in a tropical world beneath the Caribbean Sea, gliding over a spectacularly colorful coral reef, when I turned around and saw a large shape gracefully moving through the crystal clear water. I cautiously swam a bit closer, and then suddenly found myself face to face with a sea turtle. He swam right toward me, gave my camera a gentle fist bump, and then gracefully glided off into the distance. This was one of the many incredible experiences that we will show you in this episode from our day out on the North Sound of Grand Cayman. The Cayman Islands are a group of 3 tiny islands in the Caribbean Sea. In this series, we show you some of our favorite places and experiences on the island of Grand Cayman, where Cassandra is from and where we lived for several years. We are Scott and Cassandra, the forever explorers, and these are our Cayman adventures.
So we just got back from a world-class experience with Captain Jason Bush from Island Splash Water Sports. And first of all, we can't thank you enough. It's been an incredible experience for me and Scott, and our sons got to come along. So Jason, just tell us just a little bit about your business, what types of tours you offer, and how people could look you up and book.
Okay, so we're Island Splash Water Sports. We're located in the Cayman Islands. We do mostly are all private charters. We got few different boats to choose from, whether it's like high-end luxury or more affordable private charters. We're more into snorkeling tours, so like Stingrays City. We do some snorkeling. The Starfishes, those 3 stops is usually our most popular stops. If you're into more snorkeling, we have like a variety of snorkeling spots to choose from as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever really was tailored to us.
Yeah.
Because, well, we'll tell you what we did. He took us out to the Stingrays City sandbar, stayed there for maybe 45 minutes to an hour, and got to learn all about he's so knowledgeable about the stingrays and the habitat there. And then we went to a snorkeling spot, and then finally Starfish Point. So it's about 3.5 hours by the time we got back here. So thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
And I hope to bring lots of extra business to you too.
Hope to have you guys back on board again.
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome.
It's always a pleasure. Yep.
Thank you.
All right.
About 3.5 hours before our interview with Jason, we were headed to the boat, docked at the West Bay Yacht Club on Grand Cayman, and we were full of anticipation for the exciting things that we would see on this warm January day. Jason was ready for us when we arrived. We hopped on board, and soon we were leaving the harbor headed toward the North Sound. On the way out, we caught a glimpse of the largest boat in the Island Splash Water Sports fleet, which looks amazing for a larger group of people. But the smaller boat that we were on was the perfect size for our 4-person family. As we cruised out toward the North Sound, the water became noticeably clearer and more blue. And then it transitioned to the gorgeous turquoise color that is characteristic of the North Sound. At this point, we are headed out of an area called Governor's Creek through a channel that leads to the northwest side of the North Sound. On our first stop, we will go to Stingrays City, which is a sandbar in the northern part of the North Sound.
Out in the open North Sound, the water was a bit choppy, as the winds out of the north tend to be stronger in the winter months. But it wasn't bad and made for a fun ride. The weather was otherwise absolutely perfect, and it was a gorgeous day to be out in the water. Jason let us put on any music we wanted, so we relaxed and listened to some tunes while enjoying the warm breeze and occasional splashes of water on our faces. It was about a 20-minute boat ride, but the time seemed to fly by. And we soon caught sight of the cluster of boats anchored at Stingrays City. Some of these boats are quite large and carry a lot of tourists. So we much prefer the intimate and customizable experience of taking a private charter out here. For a group of people, the cost per person isn't much more for a private charter, and Island Splash Water Sports allows you to choose the length of the trip, how many stops, where to stop, and provides snorkeling gear and stingray food. We were standing in warm, crystal clear water, about as deep as our waists to chests, with our masks on, looking for stingrays. It wasn't long before the first huge stingrays glided right past us to find out if we brought any yummy squid or small fish to feed them.
We've been to Stingray City many times, but this one-of-a-kind experience, gently interacting with giant stingrays that most people think of as dangerous, never gets old. We could come here 1,000 times and never get tired of it. These huge animals are so graceful when they are gliding through the water and are clearly quite intelligent, understanding that the many humans awkwardly standing and swimming around them are not going to harm them.
It is said that Stingray City came about because local fishermen historically would anchor in the shallow water here to clean their catch and tossed fish scraps back into the sea. The stingrays became habituated to boats and humans, and tour operators eventually began bringing tourists here. This has led to mutual trust between the stingrays and humans. Tour operators must have a permit to handle the stingrays and must adhere to strict guidelines set by the Department of Environment.
Jason is an absolute expert at gently interacting with the stingrays and helping others to interact with them. Here you can see him holding one just beneath the surface of the water, massaging its underside to make it feel relaxed and unthreatened. He explained to us how to do the same and then carefully handed this giant stingray over to one of our sons, who took the hand off like a professional and did an amazing job. Then it was Cassandra's turn to hold a very large female stingray. She did it perfectly and clearly enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, it was awesome. I had actually never done this before in my many trips out here, but Jason carefully showed me how to do it, and it feels so smooth to hold them. It feels like velvet. That's all I can describe it as. It's amazing. Jason explained to us that the smaller stingrays here are males. And here I am holding one of these males while Jason pointed out the fins underneath, modified into claspers that are used for mating. Scott had a perfect view from both above and below the water. Jason then showed us how stingrays feed and had us hold a piece of squid close to the mouth. The stingray would suddenly suck the entire thing into its mouth, and we could feel the strong suction power as they did this. When they feed along the sandy bottom, they use this suction to extract prey from the sand, and then forcibly expel the sand out of their gill slits on the underside. When swimming around, we would occasionally see this feeding behavior, and there were often small fish following closely behind the stingrays to pick up any small food scraps that were left behind. While we continued to feed the stingrays for a while, Scott set off on his own mini adventure to find more stingrays underwater.
I saw a large group of stingrays close to a cluster of people and swam over there to see what the excitement was about. Suddenly, I found myself in the midst of about a dozen huge stingrays feeding on something in the sand. They were swimming inches away from me and even brushed up against me several times. This was a surreal experience with so many large rays swarming so close to me. There were many smaller fish also swimming around, picking up pieces of food left by the stingrays. After the feeding frenzy, I swam along with the group of stingrays for a while in search of more morsels of food in the sand. But finally, after about an hour of hanging out with the rays, it was time to head back to the boat for the next part of our adventure.
Our next stop was Rum Point Reef, which was a very short boat ride from Stingray City, just a little further out toward the opening of the North Sound. After a short briefing from Jason, we were soon climbing off the back of the boat and immersing ourselves in this magical underwater realm. There was a relatively strong current here today, making it a bit more challenging to swim around, so I decided to stay relatively close to the boat. Scott plunged forward though, not wanting to miss anything, and he said he didn't have any problems with the current. While Scott did most of his viewing as he snorkeled around at the surface, our oldest son was diving to the bottom to get close-up views of the beautiful tropical fish around the reef. Here's a little damselfish, doing its best to defend its territory from a strange intruder. Then he came across this large school of beautiful Atlantic blue tangs swimming among the corals. Next, he found a couple of schools of blue-striped grunts, another species commonly found around coral reefs in the Caribbean. Looking around closer to the surface, he saw a very large barracuda stealthily stalking prey, but it never let him get close enough for a better view.
Our son also captured videos and photos of many other species of fish out here, like these schoolmaster snappers. And a cute little four-eye butterfly fish. Also, a smaller blue tang all by itself. And this very interesting trumpet fish that was trying its best to blend in with the environment. Then came my sea turtle encounter. To observe a sea turtle gracefully swimming through the water is a magical experience. This appears to be a young green sea turtle, which is the most common species seen around Grand Cayman. These turtles used to be a very rare sighting around Grand Cayman, but thanks to strict conservation efforts, their populations have recovered. Even so, it's still a rare occurrence to see a sea turtle in the water. This turtle was clearly not frightened by the people swimming in the water or the several boats in the area. I watched the turtle slowly swim around for several minutes, past corals, large schools of fish, and boats. Jason told us that this turtle often hangs out at this reef, and the tour guides have named him Crush, after the turtle in the movie Finding Nemo. True to his namesake in the movie, when he turned around and came toward me, he gave my camera a fist bump before casually swimming away.
After 2 incredible stops on the boat, we still weren't done yet. After hopping back on the boat, it took less than 10 minutes to get to a shallow beach called Starfish Point. This spot is just south of the world-famous Rum Point, which we will visit later in this series and is a popular stop for boaters in the area. Starfish Point is special because it's a place where you can usually find several large sea stars crawling over the sand in water that is only a bit more than knee-deep. They move so slowly that it appears as if they aren't moving at all, but looking at them every few minutes reveals that they actually do get around faster than you might expect. This is the only easily accessible place on the island where there are such large concentrations of sea stars, which is why this place is so popular. It's so popular, in fact, that there was a food boat parked in the water, selling jerk chicken, conch fritters, and other local food. People can wade right up to the boat to place their order. We were tempted, but decided to wait to have a full meal when we got back to the harbor.
The sun was now getting low in the sky, and it was time to head back to the yacht club. By this time, the wind had calmed down, the water was very calm, and the sky was absolutely beautiful. So we had a wonderfully relaxing boat ride back. This gave us time to enjoy the peaceful moment while reminiscing about the incredible experiences that we had this afternoon. When we made it back, we did our short interview with Jason to tell him how much we loved and appreciated this amazing day out on the water with island splash water sports. We truly cannot wait to do this again the next time we visit Grand Cayman.
In our next episode, we'll take you to our favorite beach spots on the island of Grand Cayman, and every one of them is absolutely spectacular. We'll take you to 3 different areas along 7 Mile Beach. Then we'll head to the south side of the island and show you a special beach spot along the southern coast. After that, we'll go all the way to the north to show you Rum Point Beach. That is very close to Starfish Point. Finally, for those who prefer the quieter places, we'll show you 2 special beaches that are not as popular for swimming, but are amazing for relaxing, sometimes riding horses, and beachcombing. If you love beautiful beaches where the water is always warm and inviting, you won't want to miss this episode. See you there!
Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.